You mentioned yesterday they're very different than the team you played less than 2 weeks ago. Is that the nature of 2021, 22? Is that everything's always evolving? What about you guys?
Yeah, especially, I mean, coming out of the end of 2021, where so many teams were in flux and they had all those guys coming in for 10 days and it was just like craziness. So it seems like normalcy is kind of coming around and, it is very different when you're playing teams, like the Spurs who had all those guys out and now they're pretty much whole now. And, one of the things we talked about today is this is a very different team than we saw last time because, they have Johnson in the starting lineup. They have, McDermott in the starting lineup. And those are two important guys for them that they didn't start last time we played them.
Do the Spurs kind of do what the Spurs do regardless?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, they have a style of play that's been successful for them for a long time and they're going to get to their driving kick. They're going to, put pressure on your defense. They're going to be in the right spots defensively. So yeah, they do what they do, but, having, more experienced guys on the floor definitely helps.
They did lose Kata Bates' job today.
Yeah,
protocols, and then they've got 3 assistant coaches out. Do the coaches commiserate, before the games, after the games, about just the uncertainty of it all the hurdles that you have to overcome?
Yeah, so I haven't had a full staff meeting, like in-person full staff meeting in months just because of that. And, it's funny, I was talking to Wes Unseld Jr. A little while ago and he just got over it. And his assistant coach I worked with in Charlotte, Pat Delaney, his lead assistant, coached 1 game and then he was out. So, we try to space out. We try to limit our meetings, limit our, interactions and use the technology that we have to kind of get the game planning done and whatnot. But you just don't know. You don't know. Like you could be completely masked and you can be 6 feet apart and you could take all the precautions that you're supposed to and still get it. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't take the precautions, but it's just hard to know. It really is. But we're doing what we can.
Coach, what is it like matching wits with a legend like Coach Popovich?
It's always great. He's always great to me. So after the game, it's always great. During the game, it's not so much fun because he has every adjustment. He has his team playing. He always has his team playing with purpose on both ends of the floor. And, you try to, as much as you're competing after the game, you're trying to like learn little things and pick up little things from a legend like that. And he's getting close to passing one of my mentors, Don Nelson, who's the leading coach in leading winning coach in his NBA history. And I was at that game that he broke the record. I think it was Lenny Wilkins he broke the record from. So, I told Pop, hopefully I won't be at the other end of him breaking, Nelly's record, but I'm looking forward to it because he deserves it.
I spent a few minutes with you in San Antonio after that game. Was that just a good game? Congratulations, or did he have a message of some sort?
He had message, but it was more joking than anything else. In his joking, sarcastic way. It was, but he was happy for me because he knew that we had been struggling up until that point. So, it was a nice message for sure.
You're in your second year. Do you marvel just at his ability to do that job now for more than 25?
To be in the same place for such a long time, to have the success that he's had, with multiple kind of iterations of his team, to, have the, energy and the wherewithal to go through the ups and downs year after year after year. He does a great job of surrounding himself with quality people and quality coaches to help him. But yeah, it's an amazing feat to do what he's done in the same place with, different groups. It's, that's why he'll be the winningest coach in NBA history. Yeah, it's amazing.
You brought up Nelly. you both coached under him. Is there anything that he does that reminds you of Nelly at all?
At times, like Nelly's so far outside the box, so it's hard to like put your finger on certain things. But he is always like ahead of the curve to me when it comes to whatever it is. So, and it's in a smart way. So teams right now are shooting a bunch of threes, and his teams aren't shooting as many threes. They're shooting more mid-range. They're getting into the paint. They're running. I think they're the only team. They might be one or two teams that run floppy, which is single double action where the shooter is coming off the baseline, and every single team was running that 10, 15 years ago, and now there's one team running it, and he has a few other plays that are hard to guard that went back to then, that whatever 2000. And Nelly was kind of like that too, where he would bring out something that was completely different than everybody else was doing, that worked years back, and he just brings it back, and it's hard to guard, and it's hard for our guys. When I first started, everybody could guard single double action. Like everybody could do it because every team ran it. Now our guys are like, what is going on? Like, what is this action that they're running, that they're doing? And, it's the genius of both of those guys to do something that works and sometimes throw the analytics out the window and do something that's really good for their team, and knowing that there's a generation of players that probably won't recognize the nuances that go along with what they're doing.
I don't know how much time you've had to watch the Vipers over the last few days, but Daishen Nix was named G League Player of the Week today.
Yeah.
What have you thought about his progression from when you first saw him in the offseason program to where he's at now in 2022?
Yeah, I haven't watched the last two games. I think he had 34 and 30 in the last two games. So I have to catch up on those. But, to be 19 and to go from where he was when he first got here, one of the things that we wanted him to do was get in better shape. And he's done that. He's done a great job with his body. He's gotten in good shape, and he's able to push the ball, and he's super, super confident. Like when he was with us in the summer, as a 19-year-old, you're coming in and you're coming to a situation where you don't know kind of how things are going and who's who and how you're going to fit in. And then he went with Mahmoud and found a role, has succeeded in that role. Confidence has built. I think some of the games that he played with us, like when we were struggling in games, and he would go in there towards the end of the game and he would play well, gain some confidence from that. But he's come a long way as a 19-year-old in just a short period of time. So we're definitely happy with the growth that he's had.
What happened to Garuba's wrist?
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what happened to it. I know he fell, and I was talking to him about it today. He was like, yeah, I fell, and I didn't think it was that bad, but turns out it's pretty bad. So whatever pretty bad means, that's what it's going to be, but he's going to be out for a while.
Like a break, a fracture of some sort, or you don't know?
There's some sort of talk about him actually needing surgery, so I don't know if that's going to be 100% or not. I just kind of got like the tail end of the story from Us, and then I meant to go talk to the performance team about it today, but I didn't. So sorry.